Countless hours of therapy and ChatGPT will not replace this. There's nothing that helps me more than speaking and sharing my thoughts, clearing them out while I'm discovering it with you. Before I go to bed again, I realize there's a thought that's been with me for a long time. I already implement this in my life, but I've never articulated it before. For some topics that are very sensitive, I have to live it and embody it on some level. I think it is good enough, at least to a point that I think I can share with you right now. And that is, there's one learning that I've had that stands out when it comes to human interaction. When you're in a really dark place and you just can't trust people, you don't have to trust people, but you have to trust yourself. And that's going to lead to you being able to trust them again. Let me explain. This is an experience we all have, right? We thought we had good friends who are reliable, who are close to us, who we love and treat as family, as strong as we wish. The integrity of the relationship and the character of people we thought we knew might shift. And that's heartbreaking. I can totally relate. And when it's fresh, it's almost unbearable and impossible for me to speak about it because I feel like every word that I would say would just hurt everyone around me and myself, but also who I could be. And I do believe that there is a certain nuance to be made that some people, including myself, might need some type of environment in which they can have some mental space and vent about it. To be in that place and speak your experience of how you feel betrayed and this deep disappointment. Worst of all, when you're in it, you might not be able to articulate as well or even know that's the case. At least that's true for me. When you're in the middle of it, the worst thing is you don't even know that you don't trust them. It's actually you doubting yourself. You don't trust yourself. Why? Because it's actually very logical if you have this mental space to think about it, and that is you've chosen them, right? You've chosen those people, partners, friends. The fact that you were the one on the wheel, steering your life, and the choices you've made has turned out to be this dark. It's easy to project everything towards others, and there's definitely a case to be made that people make mistakes, right? But for you to have this deep pain that leads almost to bitterness, or maybe a really deep one that comes up might blind you, that the one you are resenting, the one you are having the real battle with is actually yourself. Because what you're saying when you're not trusting anyone anymore is actually that you don't trust your judgment of people. It's painful. It violates the divine connection that you have with yourself too. While you're in the midst of all this chaos, it might be difficult, maybe impossible to see that you will be able to trust people again, even though you might ask yourself how. And for me, meditation, prayer, call it as you will, help me remind myself what my values are and what's important to me by being extreme on both ends, and that is to see everything through the lens of others and judging myself, what I've contributed to this conundrum, comes natural to me. And if it comes natural to you too, because you're maybe more self-critical, it might help you getting better and stronger each move. But putting it to the extreme without a counterbalance of seeing that people are responsible for their own choices and decisions as well, what it causes is it causes you to doubt yourself in all areas. What you judge about people, but also about yourself, about your skills, about your environment, who you are, what's actually friends, what's family. It ruins relationships that are good. It hurts people who are loving you, and it distances yourself from everything that would be good for you. And also, it closes you off of good, real, deeper connection that you can have with other people. And there's a few things that I needed to accept until I can heal. And if you're like me, I would highly recommend you not only learn compassion towards others, but actually seek self love. And this is what this channel has turned into, right? My journey on how I discover self love, this word, self love. If you would to ask me what it means 3, 5 years back, I would say, dude, that's so spiritual. That's so out of this world. It doesn't make sense. And if you think about it, it's not true at all. It's very logical. It's a very simple, logical concept. The way you want to treat others, maybe you want to treat yourself this way too. I know in the Abrahamic religions it's being taught differently, and it builds this Western world that we live in, right? But I don't think general advice really applies here to me in this case, because I tend to take things into the extreme, and all I did was seeing where people are coming from, what they are struggling with, what kind of internal pressure they are going through, what leads to them breaking character, and ultimately lose themselves, and in the process, the connection that we've had. But on the same page, if you are someone who might not have a loving relationship in your childhood before, and taking this teaching into the extreme, what you're gonna lack is actually the innate ability of your own survival, the fact that you want to also love yourself and learn to love yourself. If you've learned to abandon your ego in a way that it's detrimental to yourself and to everyone around you, it's actually not helpful. While you might be able to understand where they're coming from, why things turn dark, and why things turn south, we have the same obligations that we ought to have towards ourselves. And there's a learning from John Peterson that I think it's in 12 Rules for Life, and that is to treat yourself as if you were someone you were responsible for. I learned to adopt it over the years. I learned with little steps that I've taken, as little as moisturizing my skin, noticing when I'm ordering water instead of any other beverage that would hurt my body, in not willing to lie to soothe someone's feeling while being as soft as I can towards them. The skin routine I want to share one day here on this channel as well, which is a huge ritual for me right now, where I recharge, and it's very close to my meditation. All these little steps that I've taken towards taking care of myself has shown me that it is really important for people like us to not only understand where people are coming from, but also hold them accountable to the decision they've made. Not in a judgmental finger pointing way, but in our internal world, to understand that when not only the feelings, but also the facts shows factually that a betrayal has happened, it probably has happened. And this doesn't mean that the other person are bad or mean to do it, but in the lack of the character that they have built and decision they made might facilitate that you guys are partying. And sometimes to have that as a counterweight is very important for you to not getting resentment towards them. If you have all the love for others, you will lose yourself, your sense of self and who you are. You will give people second chances who just can't be in your world. That's not meaning that they're bad people, because they can be very good people everywhere else, but with you, right? It's just an incompatibility issue. When you're watching this video, as unprocessed as it is, and you find some value in it, there's a huge case to be made that you're a very deep thinking person. You don't need linear logic, but you can pull the facts together, including the feelings, make sense of reality on multi-dimension, which for others seem chaotic. And this is like the first time I think I have ever said this to anyone, being you. Because without the counterweight of understanding where people are coming from, but also who you are, I've used to accept that when people say I'm chaotic, illogical, or delusional, for the respect and love I had for them, I wanted to ask myself if this is true. And for many years, I almost believe it's true. I know it's not, right? These contradicting thoughts were haunting me a lot. The more I am in therapy, the more I've been meeting new people who are a lot more receptive to truth and have simply better, more interesting, successful life. I've noticed that the way they see me and describe how I am, the way they reflect the world towards me, and the way they live their life, it's a lot more aspiring for me. And the more I can surround myself with these kind of people, the more I see maybe I'm not the problem. This is not to say that they're the problem. It's just they're wired differently. Longing that I have to have connection, to build out of friendships, family, a brotherhood. When this innate desire is so high, it's blinding me to what's actually true. It leads to me in re-engaging with people who I just know don't have the character to be in my life. Respectfully. This is not to say that they will never get there, but certainly they won't get there by me walking them, because I've tried. And this is something I realized when I had the last call with my mom. She told me after a very rigorous argument that when I told her I was very tough to her, like really tough love, because she didn't have a father and still don't, and she treats me as if I was her father. She told me that you don't have to worry. I love and trust you. And I know that you are the only one reminding me of who I truly am. And the truth is ugly. I'm sorry that I can't take it. I need you to help me see it. I love my mom, but at the same time, I don't think there's a worse person in my life but my mom when it's come to character. But there's a decision to be made that you can still love people despite their weaknesses and their flaws. And loving them doesn't mean that you have to be close or near them. I talk to my mom once a month, maybe more. In some months, when she's doing good, I do it every week. I have many people who I consider friends, even those who are not living up to their potential. But at the same time, when I'm the one making the first step, I might make the second. I've learned all the stuff that I have, I can also walk towards other people. The more I realize the compassion that I can have towards others, I have to have towards myself as well, things gotten better. I've gotten to meet better people who are better for my life. In my heart, I still pray and hope for those who have made other choices to find their path and their way. And maybe someday our journey might cross. But at the same time, I think it's important for me to embrace who I am, to be here with you, to share my thoughts, my experience, my struggles, and the solutions that I've found now. Yeah. And if you have struggled around these topics as well, feel free to share your story in the comment section below. I hope you know my name by now. It's Piddy. I have a lot of love for you. I hope you find it for yourself as well. Until next time. Bye.